Okay, so this is a lesson on the structure of the digestive system. So our keywords today are digestion, stomach, liver and intestines. So you've got do now activity and says, what does digestion mean to you? So if you pause the video and you go through a few ideas and jot them down. Okay, so you should have come up with something about chewing food, digesting food, food passing through digestive system. Things along those lines, which are all good, but we need to look at what the word digestion means, and we'll look at that over the next few slides. Okay, so first of all then we've got the digestive system, and then just the functions of the digestive system are digestion is breaking down food that is small enough and soluble enough to pass through the wall of the intestine. So if we look at the word soluble, okay, the term soluble means that it can dissolve, okay, and we want food to dissolve into our bloodstream. Okay, and then absorption then is transporting digested food molecules from the lumen, okay, of the gut, which we'll look at and we can say is part of our small intestine, okay, and into the blood. So there's a first task for you on OneNote, okay, they have got the information there for you and the questions. I'll quickly read through this now just in case you can't see it, and then you can answer the questions. So it says, the whole point of digestion is to break down the food you eat into small molecules that your cells can absorb and use. As you might imagine, this involves lots of different chemical reactions and our old friends, enzymes, which you've looked at before. So the digestive enzymes break down big molecules, big insoluble molecules. So if soluble means it can dissolve, insoluble means it can't dissolve. Okay, and examples of them are starch, proteins and fats in our food, and they're too big to cross the cell membrane. Okay, this means they can't be absorbed from the gut into the blood. So digestive enzymes break these big molecules down into smaller ones like sugars, and our scientific word for sugar is glucose, amino acids and glycerol and fatty acids. These smaller soluble molecules can easily cross the cell membrane, meaning they can be easily absorbed from the gut to the blood to be transported around the body for use by the body cells, for example in respiration. So there's 4 questions I want you to answer on OneNote, okay, using the information provided for you. Okay, I'm not going to go through these answers, okay, these are ones that I will check when I mark your work, okay. Okay, then we have 4 definitions that you need to know, okay? You need to know them. So, to digest something, the process of breaking down food by mechanical and enzyme action. To ingest, taking food into the alimentary canal. So, for example, eating. To egest something, the removal of food from the body that cannot be digested, i.e. solid. And excretion, then the separation and removal of metabolic waste from the body, for example, urea and carbon dioxide. So you've got then your review. So define ingestion, digestion, egestion and excretion. So press pause and then go through the answers. Okay, so let's go through the answers. So define ingestion, I'm going to put the answers down here. It's to take in food through the alimentary canal, so, or the mouth, for example. Okay, number 2, define digestion. Okay, that was on the very first slide, and it's to break down large insoluble molecules into small soluble molecules that can be easily absorbed. Okay, that definition is one that you need to learn. You need to memorize that. Okay, that's just the one thing we need to know. Right, okay, question 3 then. We're going to look at define egestion. Okay, so digestion then is removal of waste, metabolic waste from the body. Okay, and these tend to be solids, so feces for example. And then to define excretion, so removal of metabolic waste from the body. And our example was urea, so a liquid with carbon dioxide, because we breathe out carbon dioxide, we excrete it from the body because we don't need it. Okay, so here then we've got the structure of our digestive system. Okay, this is one that you need to know. Okay, so as we know then, we have food enters the mouth first. Okay, and then from the mouth we swallow it, and we swallow it into a long tube called the esophagus. Okay, we're going to look at the functions the next lesson of all of these. I just want us to be able to label the digestive system for the moment. So we go down into the esophagus. From the esophagus then food enters our stomach, okay, where it begins to be broken down. Okay, we have chemicals released from the liver, which is here, and the pancreas, which sort of looks like a leaf that's under the stomach. Okay, and they release chemicals that we need to help break down our food. From the stomach then we have food, and it goes into the small intestine. The small intestine is actually the largest, or the biggest in size than the two of them, but it's small because it's a lot narrower. From the small intestine then it goes into our large intestine, which we can see labelled here, and it goes round until we reach our anus, where it waits until we need to go to the toilet. Okay, next to the liver then we have our gallbladder. Okay, and then from the gallbladder we have the bile duct. Okay, essentially a tube that where bile moves through to enter our stomach. Okay, so that is our labelling of our digestive system. We need to know the labels of them. Okay, it's crucial that we know the labels of the digestive system. Really easy marks that we can pick up. Okay, so press pause, and I want you then on your thing, on your OneNote, to answer, to label our digestive system. Okay, so let's go through the answers. Ooh, look at the pen. A is the mouth. B is our esophagus. C is our liver. D is our gallbladder. E is our bile duct. F is the large intestine. G is our stomach. H is the pancreas. I is the small intestine. And J is our anus. Excellent, so I'm glad you got 10 out of 10. Super. Okay, then task 2 then, again, there's information for you where you're going to answer the questions. I'll read through the information for you. So it says, bile neutralizes the stomach acid and emulsifies fats. Okay, so emulsifies just means it breaks it down, but essentially they're making smaller. Okay, so we can't really use the word breakdown because not breaking down fats into anything else. Fat's a really large molecule, and it's really hard to break down. So if I've got one large fat molecule, all bile does is that it literally rips the fat apart into smaller pieces, but they are still fat molecules. They haven't been broken down into anything else. They are just smaller fat molecules that are easier then for enzymes to break down. Okay, so bile is excreted by the liver. It's stored in the gallbladder before it's released into the small intestine. Bile emulsifies fats. In other words, it breaks the fat into tiny droplets, which I've just explained. Okay, this gives a much bigger surface area of fat for the enzyme lipase to work on, which makes its digestion faster. The hydrochloric acid in the stomach makes the pH too acidic for enzymes in the small intestine to work properly. Bile is alkaline, so it's got a pH of between 8 and 14. Okay, hydrochloric acid gives an acid, pH 1. Okay, it neutralizes the acid to make and makes conditions alkaline. The enzyme in the small intestine work best in those alkaline conditions. So what you need to do then, you need to answer the questions on OneNote. Okay, so what organ releases bile? What organ stores bile? What is the role of bile? Why does bile need to neutralise stomach acid? Okay, after you've done that, then there are some challenge questions of exam past papers for you to answer, which I would like to give you a go. Any questions, you can message your science teacher for help. Thank you.